watching Thread Life with Belle. Her live show is starting soon. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle, with Belle, with Belle. On YouTube starting very soon, so stay tuned, Belle is getting ready for you. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle. Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life with Belle, starting soon.
Well, happy Monday, quilty friends. Welcome to Thread Life with Belle. I am recovering from a whirlwind trip to Chicago to H&H Americas. For those of you that joined on, I guess it was Wednesday last week, I did an informal live with my cell phone. And I know it was a little bit shaky, so I've learned I need to get a gimbal. And so I'll be doing that for next time. How is the sound? Quilt Husband said there's a little popping. So if you're with me, let me know how the sound is, because if not, we may have to switch microphones. We're having a little bit of trouble right before we started. Hey, Susan, welcome. Right before we started, this microphone just started acting up. So if it's popping, we'll swap to my overhead microphone. Susan, can you hear me okay? Is there any popping on your end? Let me know. And we'll get started on making a milk glass pincushion. Not great, it's a little cracky. Okay, we're gonna make a little switch to my overhead camera or overhead microphone then, and we'll turn this one off. How's that? Is that better? No cracking? Let me know. Susan, Eugenia, is this microphone better? Okay, yeah. So, you know, it happens. That's why I was like 1 minute late before starting. You never know what's going to happen. Static. Okay. Julie said there's static. Okay. Quilt Husband's listen. Okay, great. Oh, yay, good. We're good. Okay. Well, this is the backup microphone that we're using today. It's very clear. Okay, good. Well, I've got this one here. And while I was gone, Quilt Husband was kind of testing some things out. And I don't know what's going on. But here I am. It's Monday. I'm back from H&H Americas. And those of you that followed along, I did a live from H&H Americas, which is a quilting trade show. I did that on Wednesday. And I plan to do it again from Quilt Market in October in Houston. And that's something that's not open to the public. So it's something that you all will get to join along with. And next time I'll have like a microphone connected to the phone and a gimbal to where there won't be as much shaking. So that was my first time. Again, you know, the channel is just now a month old, and I was trying to experiment a little bit with doing a live somewhere else. So I got a lot of great feedback that y'all enjoyed it, even though it was very informal and it's not in the fancy studio with all of this stuff. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of the behind the scenes. I actually brought, so I have some giveaways at the end of the show today. One of them, actually all of them came from H&H Americas, and one of them is a K-Facet patch iron-on. So the new Aliso K-Facet Aliso irons released. So if you want to see what that looks like, you can go back to my Wednesday live from H&H Americas, and I actually showed you the Eliso irons. And so this is one of the iron-on patches from Renaissance Ribbons. Renaissance Ribbons actually takes designer fabric and they make like patches and ribbon to be used in all kinds of projects out of the designer's fabrics. And so this was one of the giveaways. So I've got that. I've got a pattern. I've got a pincushion. So if we hang on to the end, we'll be doing a winner today after we do the milk glass pincushion. All right. Well, so I've got everything laid out here, and I have an old tutorial on this, and it was when I very first started doing YouTube, and they were just recordings, so I would edit and record them. They weren't live. And it's always a popular topic to be able to make pincushions. So I'm going to kind of show you some options with different containers that you can use, depending on what you have. I collect stuff from thrift stores, but my favorite thing is to use the milk glass dishes. These are vintage. I have a really large one, and then I have a smaller one. I'm going to show you how to make it out of the smaller one today. But I'm also going to show you some other options that you can use. Like this was a quarter from the thrift store. If you want to make little baby ones, they make really great gifts. This is like, I think this might be for sugar possibly and cream. I don't know, but I got this at a thrift store. So this could be one side for pins, one side for clips. So lots of options, but today I'm going to show you how to do it in a milk glass dish. And you can get these at your local thrift store sometimes. People don't realize how valuable they are to us in the quilting one. Okay, Julie. So Julie has this one, the smaller one. And the smaller one will take an 8-inch circle. So that's what we're going to work with today. I'll show you how I cut my circles using the AccuQuilt die. If you don't have AccuQuilt, you can use a plate that you have, but it's an 8-inch circle that works for the smaller milk glass. So the cool thing about it, I'll show you in a minute when I change my camera view, is all of these holes here can be used for your quilty tools. So I have one that I keep at my sewing machine, and I actually keep all my quilty tools in it, and I keep all my clover clips in the middle because I have like a pear-shaped pincushion that I use. This is another one. I'll show you the overhead in a minute. This is a beehive, and I made the same concept, exact same concept. So if you don't have a milk glass dish, you can use other containers. You'll just need to kind of experiment with the size circumference circle you'll need. You'll need it ultimately enough for the fabric to go all the way around the little ball that we're going to make. The fabric's going to go around a ball of crushed walnuts that are inside the legs of pantyhose. So that's how we're going to do this, okay? All right, so we've got one person that's got the milk glass pincushion. You can keep your eye out on these on eBay. However, I will say they are more expensive for eBay. Let's see. Yeah, so Sue, this is the 8-inch one on this one. This one is one I just picked up recently. So I've not actually made the pincushion for this extremely large one yet. So I haven't cut a circle for it. So if you're asking about this larger one, I just got this one recently. So I've not made a pincushion out of it. This actually is a size that's a little harder to find. You find this size a lot more often. So it's 8-inch for this smaller one, and to be determined on the larger one. I just got this recently and have not made the pincushion out of it. So, I mean, I know that this is 3.5 inches across, and it takes approximately an 8-inch circumference circle. This one, let's see here. This one is about 4, let me see here. This one is almost 5 inches. Almost 5 inches. So you'll have to experiment with maybe some scrap fabric to get a circle on this one. I'm not sure, but this is the common one. This is the tutorial that I have on my channel if you look back on. And this is the one that most people find for a couple bucks in a thrift store. So Sue, if you end up doing it with the big one, feel free to come back and post and let everybody know what size you ended up using for this one, because I've not made one out of this one yet. So when I make one of these, I usually put it for sale on my website. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this one today. I'm going to use this really cute flower. It's kind of like a retro flower for this one because I don't need any more pincushions. So after I make this one, I'll put it on my website for anybody who wants to buy it because I don't need any more. All right. Any questions before we get started? I'm going to do the overhead view so you can see all the supplies that are needed. All right. You're welcome, Sue. No problem. Don't forget to hang to the end. I think this tutorial will probably only take maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes possibly. So it'll be a shorter one today. I'm actually jet lagged a little bit. I rested all weekend. The trade show was just nonstop, go, 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 go. So this is not going to be a marathon stitching project today. I wanted to do something just a little bit easier on my way back. I will tell you on Friday when I go live, I'm going to do a 2 o'clock on Friday, and I'm going to show you some of the things I brought back from H&H Americas. So I'll kind of do an unboxing of some of the things that I brought back, some of the things that happened. And I'll do another giveaway on Friday as well to give away something that I actually got while I was there. All right. I did have some retreaters that were here. So they arrived the day after I left, and I was kind of nervous about it, you know, being so far away, but I hire an assistant to kind of run things while I'm gone. So that worked out really well to have retreaters here while I was away. They still got their homemade pie that my assistant brought by for them, all baked from scratch, and all of it really went well. So anyway, for those of you that are joining that are new, if you would, please, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you want to know about future lives that I do, I usually post a thumbnail of the topic, maybe anywhere from a week to 2 days before I do it. So you can hit the little notification button on there and you'll be able to get notified about 30 minutes before I go live. And Susan let us know that worked out for us. So thank you, Susan. Susan is one of our Thread Master members. So you can kind of join a membership and as part of YouTube, and there will be videos that you get access to when you actually are a Thread Sprout or a Thread Master member. For example, when my new fabric collection comes out, before the rest of the world gets to see it, you guys will get to see it behind the scenes in a private video. And there'll be other things like that that come on down the pike where you get kind of special preference for. So anyway, if you would, I'd love for you to subscribe, and we will get started on the milk glass pincushion. All right. Okay, here we go. So I want to show you the supplies that you'll need. And I also want to show you kind of what one looks like. So this is an example of one that I keep over at my pressing station. And it's so fun because this fabric is honeycomb. This is a Lori Holt print from way back. And then this was a little container. It probably had some little flowers or something in it. And I got it at a thrift store. It has someone's name on it. So it looks like maybe someone painted it at a pottery shop or something. I think I got this for, a couple of bucks. So you can do it in any kind of container. So I wanted to show you that one. This I got for $1. It's a little tulip, basically container, and you could do a little mini one. And you could do a much smaller circle with this one. These are just ones I collect. I know, isn't the beehive cute? I love that one. So go to your thrift store because these are like $1, $1.25. The milk glass pincushions, I don't pay more than $10 for these. I wait until I can find, some really good ones. So let me move this camera just a little bit down. There we go. Okay. I really wait until they're not expensive because on eBay, they're like $10 plus shipping. And the shipping's more expensive because they're fragile and they can end up broken if they're not packaged well. So just keep your eye out for them. And like I said, when I come across them, I collect them and then I'll make them and either sell them or give them away as gifts. Here's another one. This one, like I said, I think this is for sugar and creamer. I'm not crazy about this on here. So this one I would probably do hodgepodge, and I would probably do fabric over it. The Mod Podge stuff, the glue that you use, or I would spray paint it possibly. Cause I'm not crazy, like I said, about the, 1983 fruit on there, but wouldn't that be cute? So again, you can collect all kinds of things, but my favorite is the milk glass. And this is why. So let's zoom in here so you can give this a peek. So here are all of my tools. So I have got these special scissors. This is when you get thread stuck in your machine, and these lock. There's a special name for them and I forget what they're called. I think these are actually Tula. No, these are featherweight. These are from the featherweight shop. So, yeah, Julie, if you live in the South, we do have a lot of flea markets and thrift stores in the South too, antique shops. So these aren't horribly difficult to find, but it's not like I can just be like, I'm going to go thrifting today and I know I'm going to find one. That doesn't always happen. So that's why when I come across them, I just grab them and just kind of put them aside. This was actually the first time that I saw this large size. This is the real large one. And here is the smaller one. So you can kind of see the difference here. So this one was a bit more unusual, I think, to find. That'll hold a lot of pins, right? So I keep that. I keep a stiletto in there. Hemostats. Yes, Susan. There you go. Hemostat. I knew there was a fancy name for it. I've got my Havel's snips I keep in there. I have a pair of tweezers. The seam ripper. Keep that in there. And then I have a smaller pair of scissors. These are some Juki scissors too. So those are in there. And then all of my clover clips. I use these a lot. So I have a little container. Here's another one here. This is a really fun little yardstick pincushion. And so one side is the embroidered butterfly here. You can see the embroidered butterfly. And then my clover clips on the other side. So you can use all kinds of containers besides this. But this one I love because I can keep my tools, and I keep this at my sewing machine. And I have another one over, I have two that have the exact same things in it at both of my machines. Actually, you know what? I think I have three. I have one at my Sashiko and one at each of my Jukis, just because I love them so much. So that's kind of something there to show you what you can use it for. So let me get the rest of this out of the way, and I can show you the rest of this. So you're going to need, and all of the things are listed in the description box of what I use to make these. So you're also going to need, let me pull this back out. You're going to need, you can do one of two things. You can use fabric tack. It's a special kind of glue. It's called fabric tack, and it's listed in the description box below. Mine was all dried out. So your other option is to use a hot glue gun. And I use the Gorilla Glue, the hot glue sticks that are really, really durable. So that's what I'm going to be using today. I've got my hot glue gun, and I actually have it set up on a piece of fabric so it doesn't like get on my cutting mat. You also are going to want some really thick thread. Now this is actually upholstery thread. You want to get really thick thread because when we are stitching with a needle around this and we pull our strings tight, you don't want them to break. So don't use 50 weight, 60 or 50 weight or 60 weight or anything less. I actually don't think 40 weight would work. I think I've used that and it's broke before. So if you've got like 30 weight would probably work. That's pretty thick. But if you've got upholstery thread, the thickest thread you can get that can go through the eye of the needle, the less you're liable to have it break when we tighten our threads after we kind of stitch this into a ball. So definitely want to use that. Okay. So we've got that. You also are going to need some pantyhose. Now, don't use expensive ones. You can get them from the Dollar Tree or the dollar store. You could get them from Walmart, where they have like a whole package of them and they're super cheap. I just cut the legs off of them and use them that way. You also can use further up on the pantyhose and just tie 2 knots at the end. If you use the feet, you only have to tie 1 knot after we fill all of this full of crushed walnut shells. So you'll need the pantyhose feet, pair of scissors. And then you don't have to have this, but something to roll over the top of the pincushion to flatten it out after we get it inside here when we're all done. And then lastly, you're going to need ground English walnut shells. Now, this is the brand I always use. Some people will use rice and other things. It can spoil and start to smell. And with the crushed walnut shells, it actually sharpens your pens. Like when you put them in, it automatically naturally sharpens them. There's not a bad smell to them, and this does not like spoil or have a weird smell to them. The link is in the description box to be able to get these. And it's actually used for like, you'll see it in pet stores also for like, this is like lizards and you put it inside their cage and all of that stuff. So anyway, really, really good stuff to use rather than, I don't know, sand. She could use sand. you get it back from the beach. You could bring some back from the beach and use that if you want. But I have found that this stuff works really good, and it's not quite as thin as sand. It's a little thicker, so you're not going to have as much trouble with it falling through your pantyhose. So there you go. That's what you'll need on that. You'll need a funnel. So I have a little funnel, and then I have like a little bitty glass that I use here. And that's because I'll be scooping out my walnut shells, pouring it in the funnel when we actually pour it in the pantyhose. All right. And then lastly, I use, if you've got AccuQuilt and you happen to have this die, you can use this one. This is the 8-inch circle. And that's linked as well. So this one goes through the Go Big. This is the electric AccuQuilt cutting system. You don't have to have this. It's just easier. I can get a perfect 8-inch circle for this bowl. So this is what I use. And then I'll use the smaller ones to cut smaller circles for smaller things. So this is actually, let's see, this one is the 7-inch. So if you make these a lot and you have the AccuQuilt Go Big, then it might be worth it. Or the Go, you could do that. That's an option. But if you don't have it, no problem. You actually can just use a plate. You'll just need to experiment with your container depending on whatever you're using. You'll just want to make sure that the fabric wraps pretty much all the way around the ball. There might be about this much of an opening that you'll see the bottom of the pantyhose underneath, but you're not going to see that once it's put into your milk glass bowl. Yeah, Julie, you can buy pantyhose. So y'all are going to think this is weird. I'm 50. I wear pantyhose still. I like them. Not in the summer. They're too hot, but they just hold everything in and nothing jiggles. So I actually am a pantyhose fan, and I know that's not a popular opinion, but I like them. They're like Spanx, basically. So I am a fan of them. It just smooths everything out. So I have pantyhose. You can get them at Walmart. You can still get them. You can get them on eBay. There's a company in Canada that makes really good quality ones if you want to wear them. I think they're called Shapings. But anyway, for what that's worth, I know a lot of people don't like them or wear them anymore, but I am a fan. I'm a little old fashioned, call me an old soul, but I just like how they smooth everything out and I don't have the crazy jiggle. So that's just my little 2 cents on pantyhose. But you can still get them usually at Walmart. I think Legs has them in the shell with that little, they may have different, Julie, you're 63 and you haven't worn them in 25 years. Well, you know, I wonder if that's because kind of back in the day, you like had to, like it was like taboo not to wear them. And I wonder if it's like people got burned out on it. I don't know. I mean, I was born in 75 and I did wear them as a teenager and maybe a little bit older. But and then I'd say probably through my 20s and 30s, I didn't because everything was just a little more firm. And now that things are kind of sagging a little bit, I do wear them. So that's my soapbox on pantyhose and why Belle likes them. Hey, Jennifer, welcome. Welcome. We're glad you're here. We're actually just talking about the pantyhose you're going to need to be able to make the milk glass pincushion. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to move this other stuff out of the way that we don't need. And I do have my thread already threaded here and ready to go. So we're just going to move that over here. This is the embroidery thread that I'm using. There is no label on it, so I cannot tell you what it is, but it is really thick and it's not going to break whenever you pull it. It's super strong. We'll get that out of the way there. Okay, so first up of what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the legs of the pantyhose. And I'm just going to open this up here. And I'll be cutting it down a little bit more in a minute. We're going to fill it with the crushed walnut shells. So I'm going to just put you could put your funnel here if you want to do it now, so that doesn't go everywhere. Or I'm just going to kind of open this up. And this is a small enough opening on here that I'm able to just kind of pour that in there. Now, it can be messy. So just let you know, you may need a vacuum. You kind of have to be careful because these things are kind of small. And we're going to fill up. And see, I already splashed it. We're going to fill this up until it's approximately the size I want of thickness for my little milk glass here. All right. So I tend to just kind of twist it so that nothing falls out, just to kind of see, okay, how is this looking? How big do I want it? So I want this a little bigger. So I'm going to put more in there. This is actually not puffy enough for me, and there's room on the edges. So I'll just kind of put in quite a bit there. I'm just going to untwist that, and I'm going to keep adding more of the walnut shells. You like milk glass too? Do you use this, Jennifer, for pincushions? Have you used one of these for pincushions? I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know about this. I'm like, this is the best container for quilters because it holds your tools. Okay, let's see how this size looks here for this one. Yeah, I'm liking this size because what's going to happen is when we're done with this, I'm going to use a chopstick and we'll be rolling it out kind of over the top. So we're just going to pull this really tight, and I'm going to make a knot. So I'm going to knot this down here at the bottom. I'm going to twist it and then knot it a couple of times so that this does not fall out when we are stitching. So there's one knot there. We'll do one more for safety purposes. Yeah, it is a great idea. And you know, I honestly don't remember. I did this 3 years ago, and I don't even remember, like, I don't remember if I saw it somewhere. I don't remember if I just was in a thrift store and thought, oh, my tools will fit in there. Like, I can't remember. I'm not sure. But anyway, then we're just going to cut off the tail here, and that'll be thrown away. So here we go. This is what this looks like. I have a ball here. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see better. There we go. Okay. So it's firm. I've got it tight now. I'm going to put it back in there and just kind of double check and make sure I'm happy with it. And I like my pincushion to come up, kind of like you can see here. I'll show you. That's how far up it comes. I like mine round. If you want yours flush, you could make it with less, but this is the way I like mine, where it's just nice and puffy and it looks like that. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to set this aside for now. Put this up. We're done with it. I mean, this literally is a quick project. You can make one of these. You know, if you count the time it takes to cut your circle and all, in 30 minutes. It's super fast. And I think, honestly, these would be great to sell like at a show or a flea market or something. Honestly, I think they would be really fun to do that way. I just don't have time to make them all the time. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, I've got a needle that had a pretty big eye to it. So Sue, the diameter of the large one. Are you talking about the large milk glass pincushion? I just got this one recently, and I actually have not made one out of the large. I only in the past have ever made them out of this one, and this takes an 8-inch circle. This one, I don't know yet. I will have to experiment with it because I know when I first taught myself how to do this, I think I cut 3 circles before I knew how big I needed to cut one. So on this one, it'll be an experiment. I've not used this size yet. Yeah, the pantyhose, honestly, it's perfect because it holds it really well, Julie, like you said. And, you know, they're cheap if you get cheap pantyhose. So when you think about what size circle, though, Sue, this is kind of what you may want to do. You may want to go ahead and stuff your pantyhose first in the larger one to see how big it's going to be like this. All right, this is what I would suggest. And then get your fabric before you've cut a circle. This is how I did it with this one. Before you even cut a circle, because I didn't know what size circle I needed for one of these 3 years ago when I first started making them. I would get your ball, once you get it in the larger one, if you'll happen to find a larger one, I think these are harder. The size of the dish. Oh, this one is about 5 inches wide, and this one is 3.5. If you're wanting to know the size of the circle, it's about 5, almost 5.5. Let me double check it. It is 4 3/4 is how big the circle is. And this one is 3 1/4, I believe. Let's double check. Yep, 3 1/4. So I'm sure some of you that are good at quilty math, you probably can figure out what circle you may want. I don't love math, so I kind of did it trial by error. But you could take your ball, if you're not sure, put it in there. And once you've got your ball ready, then on like a fat quarter or a piece of scrap, what you're going to want to do is eyeball it. And you're going to want the fabric to come up like this. You see how far that comes up? And I'll have to get it in the center. When all of this gets stitched and folded up, you're going to have just the little tail sticking out here. That little tail right here will be sticking out. So when we stitch this, and this is not going to show, all right? So that's why I felt 8 inches, an 8-inch circle that was on my AccuQuilt die. It worked really well for me. That's why I went with 8 inches. So you do what works best for you. You're welcome, Susan. That would be my suggestion. So if you guys have different containers and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what size, that's how I did it trial by error. I filled this first and then just got like a piece of scrap fabric and kind of pulled it all up. And then I just kind of thought, okay, that's about what would be a good size for it. But I'm letting you know for the small one, an 8-inch circle is what you need for this tutorial today. For the other ones, that's how you would figure that one out. Unless there's some kind of quilty math that you know that I don't know, go for it. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your thread, and I do this is pretty long. So this is like from the end of my finger all the way up to my neck. I made it pretty long. And we're going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see how I'm going to stitch this. We're going to start and we're going to go in and out. So in and out with your needle all the way around. And I do this several times before I actually pull my thread. And you don't want to get it too close. I'm about a 1/4 inch from the edge of the circle, because if you get it too close, when you go to pull the string, it can rip through and tear your fabric. Now this fabric I'm using is actually, it's a little thicker. It's not canvas, but it's also not really thin quilting cotton. It's like a thicker quilting cotton. This is actually some vintage stuff that I found. The rest of the collection I gave to my friend Maud, the retro quilter, last week, and this was one piece left from something I made her. So after I do quite a few stitches, I go ahead and pull it a little bit, and then you just keep going around the edge, in and out, just in and out, all the way around. Yeah, so I have too, Sue. I've made them from teacups, little things that used to have succulents in them or plants, all kinds of stuff. I mean, y'all can just go to town with the amazing things you can make them for. And they make amazing gifts for your quilty friends. And if you do like any kind of like shows or anything like that, you could sell them. I honestly don't have a lot of time to like make a bunch, but when I do make them, I just stick them for sale on my website. And that's where this one's going to go. I'll put this one for sale on my website and snag them. The milk glass, like I said, it's not easy to find and it's not hard to find. I can't just be like, I'm going to go get milk glass today and find one. Like, it's hit or miss. So it could take you several months to find one, depending on where you're located, if you've got a lot of flea markets and thrift stores and things like that. So they're kind of valuable. The milk glass itself, that's the most valuable part of the whole project, in my opinion. So when I sell these, I don't, sell them for $5 kind of thing. So a lot of people like them. They kind of make a little bit of a fancy gift for people, and you don't have to replace them. I mean, they're just really, really nice. So we're just weaving in and out here all the way around. This is the part actually that takes the longest of the whole thing, is just stitching in and out with your upholstery thread or really thick thread. You may want to use polyester because it won't break as easy as cotton will. And I think this embroidery or this upholstery thread, I want to say I got at a thrift store or Goodwill or something. And I was like, I think I could use that for something. And sure enough, the Pincushion is what ended up being the ideal thing to use it for. So I'll just do quite a few stitches and then I'll pull some of the thread. And you see it's starting to make a little bit of it's gathering is what's happening. And I'll hold on to this end down here really tight when I go to pull it. I should have left a little bit more of a tail, but I didn't. Make sure you tie a knot at the end of your thread before you get started, because I've done this before without tying the knot and accidentally pulled the whole thing out. That's not fun because, like I said, this is the longest part of the whole thing, really. It's a great way to use up your scraps. You could even piece an 8-inch block, and you could use that rather than a full piece of fabric. The only thing, I did that once, the only thing is that because there's seams in the Pincushion, sometimes when you pull it really tight, if you do it, make sure when you piece, you use like a 1.8 millimeter stitch length so that the seams don't kind of bust open over time with that, because you're poking pins in and out of it all the time. All right, we are back to where we started. It reminds me of, you know, when you use, you make the little lids, decorative tops to go on top of your jars when you've made jelly. That's what this reminds me of, sort of. Okay, let's find the end of my thread there. Tail. So here's the tail, and here's this tail here. Let's stick it there for a second. Make sure you've got a long enough one, and you start to pull it. And then I'm going to put the ball inside of this. So we're just going to kind of gather that a little bit like this. And then I'm going to stick it in there like so. And get it centered. Now, it takes a little bit of kind of finagling to make sure that it's as even as possible, okay? So you see how that works? You just pull both of those. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut off this extra thread here. Get that out of my way. We will bring over my glue gun. Have that ready. All right. So you do need to pull this pretty tight, right? You don't want a lot of loose fabric hanging out. Like, you're going to have a little bit of gathering, these little pleats on the side. You're going to just have a little bit of that. But because this is down in the bowl, you're really not going to see it. But I like mine really tight. So I'm just going to pull on it, and I'm going to tie a knot to keep that together. I'll just put my finger there. And again, this is the 8-inch circle for the milk glass, that the circumference or across the bowl is like 3¼ inches. So I'm going to tie another one. I'm going to actually tie about 4 or 5 knots here, just for good measure. Joy, you've got a donkey with a basket ornament. Yeah, you can use, like I said, you can use anything. I'll set these out here for some of y'all to see that maybe popped on late. These are all examples of things that you can use for these. So the thrift store and the flea market is your friend. All right, so I've got that tight. We'll do one more knot here, just for safe measure. Now you guys hang with me to the end. I'm going to do a giveaway today. Brought a few things back from H&H Americas. And then Friday, I'm going to go over all the swag and some of the fun things that I brought back too. If you want to join me at 2 on Friday. So I'm just going to cut that string. Here we go. Look at that. Nice. Isn't that fun fabric? It's very retro. Okay. So now I am just going to make sure I love it. Oh my gosh, I do love it. I don't need another one of these, but every time I make one, I'm like, oh, I should keep this one. So that's going to be great. So you can see from the side how far this sticks up for me. And I really love this because the white really blends in with the pincushion. So it's really nice. Yep, I like that. So I'm kind of molding it right now. All right, I'm molding it to the size that I want. And I usually just take, this is a chopstick, and I flatten mine out a little bit like this, where there's no little kind of bumps or lumps in it. Just flatten it out. Well, good. Hey, Quilt Winch. I don't remember if you told me your name or not. I just remember your handle. I'm glad you're back with us. You made it. We're making the milk glass pincushion. Okay. So that is good. I'm happy with the shape of this. All right. So I'm just going to pop it out, and I'm going to lay it like this, just upside down like this. Ha ha ha. Do we really have to have a reason to go, Jennifer, to the consignment shop? Okay. Now this part here, you got to be kind of quick when you're using the glue gun. You need to be a little quick because you know this stuff dries. So you kind of be like, zzz, and then pop it in there really quick. That's why I go ahead and form the ball and then gently pull it out, place it upside down. All right. Now, fabric tack is the other thing that I use as well. Trish. Okay, Trish, I'm going to try to remember. Thank you for telling me. Fabric tack doesn't dry as quickly, and it comes in a big bottle. Mine, however, I noticed when I looked at it, it was like dried up. So I was like, okay, the B plan is this. So I've used both. So what you're going to do is you're going to go along the edge, and I'm using the Gorilla Glue, and I am just going to quickly put this all along the edge really fast. Make sure you've got enough of stick in there. There we go. Boop. And then boom. Just stick that right in there. And that's it. It'll stay. Once it dries, it'll stay. And then I just kind of push all that back out like this. Well, Sue, I'm glad you found my channel. Aw, Shelly. Shelly's a Threadmaster. Thanks for joining, Shelly. We're glad that you joined. So if y'all are wondering what's Threadmaster or Thread Sprout, those are memberships here on my YouTube. And when you're Threadmaster, you'll be getting access to videos that others don't. So like when my fabric collection, before it comes out and other people get to see it, you guys will get to see it first. And I'll actually do stuff like that that's kind of special. So I know not everyone can afford $1.99 or $4.99 a month, but the Thread Sprout's $1.99 and Threadmaster is $4.99 a month, and it helps support my channel. Because right now I'm doing all this for free until I can kind of start monetizing a little bit. Okay, look at that, y'all. Isn't that darling? So then you just take your notions. Ta-da! And just stick them all in. And then since I'm going to sell this one, I'm not going to stick my pins in it. But you just take your pins. Like this is another one. This is an old spool here. This is actually an old thread spool. And it's just got fabric wrapped around it that looks like a measuring stick. And this right here, same thing. On the top is a little flower. I mean, you can use so many different things to make these. But the key is the pantyhose. The key is the pantyhose and the crushed walnut shells, y'all. So this is it. This is the brand. It's called Zilla Desert Blend. And it comes in different sizes of bags. I've got a larger bag than this one. And I just kind of hang on to it. It lasts for a while. So there we go. That's it. There's your pincushion, y'all. Awesome. Well, Shelly, thanks for becoming a Threadmaster. And then I believe it was Sue that joined us last time. And then Sue GSD. I don't know what that stands for, Sue. But I'm glad you found the channel. I usually go live on Mondays and Fridays. And then Saturday afternoons are Stitching Saturday. And that's where you just take your works in progress and your UFOs and we all work on them together and we visit. Right? So normally I teach something on Mondays and Fridays if I'm home. Yeah, so y'all got to go find pantyhose, okay? I have seen them at Walmart, also sometimes the Dollar Tree. They do still exist, and I do still wear them. As I told those that were here earlier, They hold everything in so nothing jiggles. So I am a pantyhose lover for sure. Isn't that darling? Okay, y'all. I mean, literally, if you were doing this on your own without talking like I was, you could whip one of these up in less than 30 minutes. Yeah. So now you know how to make a milk glass pincushion. You'll be well, I don't think envy is a good thing, but your friends will be jealous of you in a good quilty way, and they are going to want to make one. But wouldn't these make great gifts? If you can find enough of these. And like I said, when I get them, I collect them. Now, I've not done the large one yet. So if one of y'all end up doing the large one, reach out and let me know what size circle you ended up doing, because I've got to experiment with that. You first saw me on AccuQuilt, Julie. Oh, was it when I released my die, my jewel petal die? Was that it? Was it the jewel petal die? Yeah, well, you know what, y'all? AccuQuilt is now completely sold out. I got the email yesterday. They completely sold out of all 2,000 of those AccuQuilt dies. Yeah, I was excited that everyone liked it so much. It was an EPP jewel petal die for English paper piecing. And I actually have an idea for 2 more. So I'll be working with them on a couple more things. But we did it, y'all. It's our milk glass pincushion. Isn't that darling? So I'm going to put this for sale on my website because I don't need any more pincushions. Yeah, this will be a special one. You could say it was made by Belle. It's on the live recording, and it's just got these cute little daisy flowers on it. Adorable pincushion. Yeah, I think so too, right? And all your tools are just handy rather than being in drawers or laying on your table. I mean, I like organization. I'm a fan of organization. If stuff's not in its home, my brain starts like short circuiting. So yeah, definitely love organization. So Shelly, did you go looking for these? No, it was because I posted I was going to be doing this tutorial last week, so y'all would have like advance notice for your schedules. Did you go looking for these when you knew this was the tutorial I was going to do, Shelly? Sold. Trisha's like, sold. Well, I'll get it listed today. So whoever gets on there first gets it. I can't hold it for anybody, but I will put it on there for sale. And I have to like bubble wrap it. Shipping's a little bit more because it's heavier, and I have to like put all this foam stuff so it doesn't break. So far, when I've sent these to people, this is not broken. But yeah, Pincushion by Belle. So you guys go make these. Go make these, give them as gifts, share this tutorial. I would love for you to share the tutorial here on YouTube. Just like share it with your friends, share it on your social media. One, it'll help my channel, but I just think it's a great thing to teach people how to do, right? So I'll probably make some little ones. I have an art gallery here and I have some of my stuff there. So I'll probably make some of the smaller ones. This one's fun. This one will be for clips and then pins on both sides. Isn't that cute? Could do it that way. Okay, friends. Well, any questions at all about this tutorial? Because that's how quick it is. That is how quick it is. Okay, we're going to do a giveaway. And Quilt Husband is going to kind of get all that going for us. So let me set this stuff kind of aside. We'll visit a little bit because y'all know I use a free spinner kind of thing when you guys comment in the comment box. Because otherwise you have to like pay for these fancy pick the winner things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not there yet to do all that stuff. So we're going to actually do that. So I'm going to switch over to our chat view here. Okay. So what needs to happen is in the chat, for those of you that are here, I'm going to be sending to you. Now, this is for those in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., it's still free, but you do have to pay shipping. So what you'll need to do regardless is email me at belle@seamsewme.com and let me know, hey, it's Susan, it's Shelly, it's Trish, it's whoever, and I won. And I need you to give me your address, your mailing address to send it to. If you're out of the country, then I'll be sending you a PayPal link to cover shipping, but you know, it's free. So a couple things. I've got a cute little green pincushion that came from H&H Americas. It's darling. It's from Prim. I've got a K facet. This is a patch. This was all released at Quilt Market, the new Aliso iron. It's the new K facet Aliso mini and the large iron. And these were special iron-ons. Let me see. I'll turn the overhead on. This is the special iron-on. here. But what you need to do while I'm showing you this is in the chat, do hashtag win. It can be uppercase or lowercase, but it's hashtag win. So y'all go ahead and start putting that there in the chat, and Quilt Husband's gonna behind the scenes run the little wheel. It takes like what, a minute?
5 minutes.
It takes 5 minutes. So we're gonna hang here 5 minutes until we can come up with a better system. So that, and then y'all, this is a pattern. Listen to this. I met a designer at H&H Americas, and she does patterns that are in English and Spanish. And her brand name is Quilting with Latinas. So this pattern is written in both languages. So I don't know if anyone here speaks Spanish or has quilty friends or whatever, but she sent me home with 4 of these patterns to be able to give out. So you're going to get the whole bundle. We'll give all of these. I'll send these to you for free if you're in the U.S. If you're out of the U.S., then you'll just be responsible for the shipping. I'm also going to do a giveaway on Friday because I brought back some loot from H&H Americas. And everybody got theirs in? Okay, we're starting to pick the person now. So hopefully everyone's typed in hashtag win. And it'll take us just a little bit for that to pop up to let you know who won. So just hang with me and we'll visit a little bit. Friday, I will be showing you some of the things that I brought back from H&H Americas and answer any questions that you may have about that. And I'll also do a giveaway. And let's see what else I'll show you. Oh, I want to show you all my quilt coat. You know what? I'll have Quilt Husband go in and get my quilt coat while this is spinning and trying to find it. It has to like pull all of y'all's win things into the system, and then it like picks someone. So it's all random. Sue, I am located in West Central Arkansas, and so I have a retreat center here. That was one of the things that I was doing at H&H Americas was I was promoting my patterns, my friendship bloom patterns, my alphabet clips. So some of y'all have been following along, but these are my custom alphabet clips. And so they're with all the distributors. And you're able to mark your fabrics with the letters. And then I also have numbers to mark your rows. Those are on my website as well. So I was promoting these while I was there at H&H Americas. And then also Retreat Center. And all of that is down in the description box. So I have retreats. And I actually had retreaters here while I was at H&H Americas. So I'm going to put on, y'all, I made this quilt coat for H&H Americas. And I say I made the quilt coat. I cut off the sleeves of a denim jacket. And I don't know if y'all recognize this. If any of you get Quilt Folk. So my story was featured in Quilt Folk magazine last month. And this is a vintage rescue orphan, well, it's not an orphan quilt, kind of. It didn't have the binding on it, right? And this is from, I believe it's from the early 80s. There may be some older prints from, it looks like it's almost got some that are from even before then, like maybe back in the 50s or the 60s. So it's got like a lot of years worth of stuff. So I cut the sleeves off, unpicked everything on here, laid out the sleeves as my pattern basically. And then I laid it on top of this big, it was kind of a wall quilt. And I cut it out and then sewed the sleeves on. And then I actually re-sewed the cuffs back on here. And then I put a patch on the back. So there were 2 left on the quilt. So I put the patch on the back here. And this was what I wore to H&H. And I have this much left from the quilts. So I'm going to make a little zip pouch. Wouldn't that be cute as a zip pouch? Yeah, fun. So Sue, you're in Missouri? Nice. Well, you're not too far away, Southwest. You should grab your gal pals and your friends and have them all come down and have a retreat down here. It's on 45 acres in the Ouachita National Forest. And you can dig for crystals. You can dig for diamonds. Of course, there's a whole quilting studio in there with AccuQuilt and pressing stations and cutting stations and all the things. There's 14 sponsors that sent stuff. So, yeah, I was so proud of myself, y'all. This is my first garment. I mean, I know I didn't sew this part, but I was really proud of myself for making this. So I have another one. Well, I shouldn't say it's my first garment. I made a vest, okay? But it did not turn out well. I think I modeled this for the last group. This is a cute vest, but the girl that made the pattern, the sizes were like 3 sizes too big in the pattern. So this was like, did not turn out well for me. when you put it on, it like overlaps. So it's still sitting here. But I did cut out the pieces to make a full quilt coat where I do everything. Those are 3 sizes too big, so I'm going to have to cut it down. So I was like, well, that's not going to happen before H&H America, so this was what I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. All right, where are we, Quilt Husband? He's running the thing. What do we got? 50 seconds. 50 seconds. And then we'll have a winner, and we'll see who won the prize for today. And then I will get the Milk Glass Pincushion listed on my website and see if one of you want it. All right, let me go back to chat. All right. Huh? Yeah, so questions about H&H Americas. How many of you on here watched my live from H&H Americas trade show? Thanks, Julie. It is peaceful here. It absolutely is peaceful. So it's all about peacefulness, literally. I mean, we feel pretty much at peace when we sew in our own places, but I mean, there's trails, there's the river, there's bluffs, there's sunsets, there's swings up on the bluffs. It's a lot of fun. Okay, here we go. 1 second. And the winner is, ding, 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 ding. Here we go. Shelly Run is our winner. Shelly, you won today. And Shelly, congratulations. Let's sew on the browser. Here we go. Shelly, congratulations, you won. So I need you to email me at bell@seamsewme.com. And that way I can get the prize sent off to you. All right. Well, I know you guys are like, I'm going to be shopping for Milk Glass. Yep, you should. Flea markets, thrift stores, all of that fun stuff. And you can get all kinds of containers. Like I said, I got this one for $1, and I just collect them. So I have them for when I want to make a gift for someone and not necessarily buy something. They're just handy. Yeah, they're handy. Well, congratulations, Shelly. Congratulations. And also thanks for becoming a thread master as part of the membership program here. I'm grateful for those of you that are doing that, supporting the channel. Share this video with your friends. If you're here, I would love for you to like the channel and share it with your friends and subscribe. And you'll get notifications whenever I post that I'm going to have a live. You'll get a notification if you click the little bell, like click the bell for bell. And that way you'll know so you don't forget. Okay, quilty friends. Well, that is all for Thread Life with Belle today on Monday. I can't wait to see y'all's pincushions. If you post any photos of it on social media, tag me, send me an email with a picture of it. I would love to see them. And until Friday, y'all continue to make lovely things. So we will see you then, okay? Bye, y'all.